Did you just throw your phone?
No, I did not throw the phone.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Beg Pardon, the podcast that dares you to say it again. As always, what is with your eyes?
I don't know. It keeps jumping, so I'm just like...
All right, everyone, as always, I'm Anthony. I think I'm joined by Carlos. I hope he can make it through the show. And for those of you that haven't seen the show before or listened to the show before, Beg Pardon is a podcast kind of about everything and nothing at the same time. So we give our opinions on topics that you didn't ask for. And I think we kind of found our wheelhouse here in finding topics that only I guess that we care about. But thank you for tuning in nonetheless. So today, pack your bags because we are going on vacation today. We're getting out of the studio, right? We're getting out of the studio and going on vacation virtually, but we will still be going on vacation. Carlos and I are going to kind of talk about what our favorite way to vacation is. I guess you could say that, like ways to vacation.
Yeah, ways to vacation or what to do when you're on vacation.
Yeah, what to do while you're on vacation, the pre-planning process for vacation. Literally we'll cover everything. So hopefully you guys can take away some tips and tricks that we use. So how are you doing today?
Besides the Saharan desert that's in my eye,
Yeah.
I'm good. It's all that dust that's coming over.
I heard about that dust cloud.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, must be hitting Florida right now, so I'll prepare.
It's completely in my eye right now, so.
The entire Sahara Desert is in your left eye.
So yeah, I got the cosmos going on there.
Nice.
But other than that, it's been pretty, it is what it is.
Yeah. Still a lot of staying at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started Watchmen.
There's literally nothing else to talk about. There's literally now there's I was at home.
It's like a Groundhog Day thing. We're just same thing as yesterday.
This is it. Okay, so vacation spots.
Yes.
Where are you going?
Why'd I just scream? That was aggressive. Typically where I go is something that has a major draw to me. So major draws for me are theme parks or tours. So it used to be Orlando, but so now it's
He
LA
clearly lives in Orlando for all of you folks that were
for
why
all
did
of
he
you
just
who
do
didn't
that?
know. I'm in Florida now, so but it's Anaheim or LA because Disneyland, and then the studio tours that are out there. Back to New York just because hometown pride. But then after a while, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I can stay in California longer than I can in New York. I'm just I'm good. Or Canada. I never have gone to Europe or anything, and I have zero desire to.
Why?
That plane ride is I'll freak out. I freak out on the plane ride to California. That's only
Would
5.5
you take a
hours.
boat?
I think a boat would be worse.
Well, I don't know why you were freaking out on the plane. Why are you freaking out on the plane?
Because I can't leave.
Oh,
in
a boat
car,
would be worse.
A car you can pull off at a
What
rest
is the
stop,
boat? Is that a
picture.
14-week journey or 14-day journey? 14 weeks. Is
14
that a 14? Is that a 14-day journey? Do they still even have those?
What, those cruises like that?
Not cruises, but literal just boat transport.
I think they're just called a cruise now. I don't think there's a boat transport.
No, because cruises just come back to their original destination, and they usually don't go from I wouldn't be like I'm commuting from Miami to Barbados and I'm using Carnival Cruise. Who would say that? No one's saying that.
Well, do they have one-way cruises? They have one-way flights?
No.
That wasn't very confident. No.
No, because how do you the people in the United States cannot authenticate that somebody, I don't know, this may sound ignorant, I don't know if they can authenticate if someone is really a Barbadian. Is that what they're called, Barbadians?
I don't
like
know.
citizens of Barbados.
Citizen of Barbados, yeah.
Yeah, Barbadians. I don't know. I don't know if they can really authenticate whether someone's like a real citizen or not. So how can you just drop them off and leave them?
Well, you have your passport.
I know, but like I think that's different than like a cruise and like, oh, I get some beach time or I get some little shop time and I'm there for like two hours. Then no, we're dropping you off and leaving. You have no car, you have no luggage, you have no train, like you have nothing, and we're just dropping you off and leaving you. Again, everyone put in the comments whether you would take a Carnival cruise as a form to commute with, because I don't
Maybe
think
not
there is.
Carnival.
Yeah.
Like maybe Norwegian might.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I feel like they're a more upstanding brand.
So like, was the Titanic a cruise, or was that like taking people? Because there were cars on there, there were luggage,
Yeah.
like there was like, I think people were moved. Well, clearly Rose moved here.
I think if the movie's anything to go by, Rose is
Right.
here,
Right.
and
Like,
she
was
threw
that-
that diamond at the end.
Was that a cruise or no? I
think
don't
it
feel like that was a
cruise.
I mean, it was a nice ship,
Right.
but people were like, this is gonna change my life forever. So you're moving? Like that's what Jack was doing. I mean, he was homeless, but there were so many other people that were. I'm glad I'm using this real piece of history to put this on. Let me see if it was a cruise liner. Let me see. Hold on 1 second.
I was gonna say I don't know their itinerary. I don't think they had any stops along the way. The Titanic, where they were like, "We're gonna port here so you guys can see the beach."
Well, there's nothing there. They just went from. There was no island there.
You're like, "Oh yeah, stupid. There was no island there. How could they do that?"
I did not say it like that.
While you look that up though, but that's my thing. Is I cannot really get out and walk around or anything, nor can I see anything. I could just see clouds and water, so that would freak me out. I want to go to Switzerland though. I like mountain-esque sides of like things. I mean, beaches are cool, but I'm more of a mountain dude. I like seeing mountains and stuff. I don't know why. It looks a lot more majestic to me than a beach.
Yeah. Well, then, would you like? Side note: it's a passenger liner. I don't know if that. I think. Yes, an ocean liner is a passenger ship primarily used as a form of transportation across seas or oceans. Cruise ships are large passenger ships used mainly for vacationing. Unlike ocean liners, which are used for transport, they typically embark on a round-trip voyage to various ports of call where passengers may go on tours known as shore excursions.
There you go, kids. You can't move on a Carnival cruise.
Yeah, you cannot move on a Carnival cruise, but you can. Well, you can't on the Titanic either, but you can on another ship like the Titanic.
So that myth was busted.
Yes. And that's the show, guys. So make sure to like
That's
us.
our time.
Right. Yeah. But I was gonna say, it's like, since you like seeing the mountains and you're like, well, I like seeing these things. Would you like
Marlon Brando?
would you like then taking train as transport?
I would do
Like
that
Amtrak?
train. Well, like that train that went from Seattle down to like LA that goes along the side. Have you ever seen that? It has like all glass the front. It's like a dinner train thing.
No.
It's like, it looks like the Hogwarts train, to be honest. But you sit there and like you go down the side of like California and it cuts to like all this mountain area and like it's a scenic tour on a train. Like I would do that, but I don't know if I would do a train just to like travel on train. It would have to be like a scenic tour train. I'm not just gonna
would you
west.
to get to your vacation destination?
Oh, maybe going there, but not like both ways.
No.
I would probably do
Why?
a plane
For
trip.
time? For time?
The time and also the fact that like trains derail more than planes crash.
Oh my god. All right.
That's just, I don't know. That's how my mind works, man.
So you have more of a likelihood of dying on the way back than you would on the way there? Like, why would you? Why are you gonna do
on the
it?
way there?
Yeah, why would you take it on the way there? If that's your logic on not taking it on the way back, why do you ignore that logic to take it there?
Because on the way there, I'm only doing it one time, so my chance of dying goes down. And also, I'm heading to vacation, so like,
If I die on vacation,
bushy-tailed.
I would have.
Yeah.
I would have rather flipped it though. Like at least I had vacation. Like I'd rather die on the way home.
Well, what if I had a bad vacation and then I'm just like, well, that was the last thing. Like,
Yeah. I mean, what if you have a bad life? You want to get to. You want to get to. This is another podcast, everyone. And you want to get to vacation. I think that's actually the majority of people. They actually have a bad life and they want to have like good vacations. Most people don't have bad vacations to get back to their great life.
that's fair.
Okay, so transport. I personally, if I could take a train to and from my vacation destinations, I would. I think it depends on where I was going. Obviously, it would depend on where I'm going, but I would try to wrap it up in the experience. Like if I was going like on a vacation in the Rockies, I'd want to take a train there because it would feel like I'm supposed to be in a train.
Right.
If that makes sense.
But I would want to train like the Orient Express or like the Hogwarts train. I wouldn't want a train where it's just like a Greyhound version of a train and there's just seats and I'm like, hey.
That's Amtrak, but Amtrak has like sleeper cars and they have dining cars and it's like a normal train.
I've never been on Amtrak.
Oh, I did.
I've been on Greyhound though.
I've been on Greyhound too. Somebody told me that they ate like squirrel. Like this guy was like educating me on like how to eat like squirrels and possums on a Greyhound, and I was like,
Greyhound's a survival trip. Like,
delightful. Yeah, it was. You know, Greyhound's not that cheap though. Like compared to Megabus, Megabus is super cheap.
never done
So
it.
yeah, I've never done it either. But y'all, if you want to go on vacation to like major cities, look into Megabus. If you're working on a budget and you're not afraid of what a $10 ticket would entail, like you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? Like
I was gonna say, yeah.
you get what you
on
pay
the open
for.
road.
Yeah. So look into Megabus. Okay, so we talking about kind of like how you're getting there. What are you doing, or where are you staying once you get there? Are you
Where
a
am I
hotel
staying?
kind of guy? Yeah. Are you a hotel kind of guy? Are you gonna do like an Airbnb? Are you gonna do like cottages? Are you gonna do what are you doing?
So if I'm going to somewhere like foresty type of thing,
Yeah.
like you ever seen the movie Small Soldiers?
No.
It came out in the 90s, and it was like the more edgy version of Toy Story. Toy Story steamrolled it. But for anyone who remembers Small Soldiers, there was like a scene where they go to like this lake, and it's in the forest, and there's a giant mountain behind it. If I was staying somewhere like that, I would stay in a cabin, so I can be as close to that as possible. Like I would stay like in like a ranch cabin thing. But for the most part, I am only staying in a hotel. I will not go to an Airbnb. I will not go to like a little bed and breakfast.
What is the difference between wait. What is the difference between an Airbnb and this imaginary cabin that you're staying in?
Because even in that cabin, it's a series of cabins. Like it's not one cabin that me and my family.
So what
live
if I owned a series of row homes in San Francisco and they were Airbnbs? I own them. I own a series of row homes that people sleep in. How is that different?
Because this is like literally in civilization where someone can live. Like I can see a neighbor who might live here all the time.
I know people that live in cabins.
I don't know a soul that lives in a real cabin.
My brother lives in a one-room cabin. Like Abraham Lincoln lives in a one-room cabin right now to this day.
Well,
Steven,
there we go.
if you're watching, zip some pictures over to Carlos. Like it's literally a one-bedroom cabin. They have like this. They have a small stove type thing. It's literally like the smallest stove I've ever seen in humanity. And I didn't even think it functioned, to be honest. But it's like a one-room cabin. So there are people that live in them. Like that's what I don't get. Like, is it like because you're not gonna have like the normal hotel features that you would at that cabin.
No, but I'm suspending that part of my mind belief to be in this environment of a cabin. Like I'm fully immersing myself in this life of the cabin hood. Cabin hood. Same thing if you go to like a dude ranch and like you're staying in those ranches Like you're suspending yourself into like this Western tale of I'm gonna ride horses, I'm gonna stay in a dude ranch, and I'm gonna eat here, and I'm gonna do all these things. But if I go into a city, I'm not gonna stay in a house and be like, now I'm gonna pretend I live here, and I'm gonna go to the grocery store right up here to make my own food.
Like, so where are you eating in the cabin? If there's just cabins in the middle of the woods, you're gonna make your own food.
No, because in my imaginary situation where this cabin is, they would have.
So these aren't even real vacations?
I don't know.
This is a show about real This is a show about real vacations. What are you doing? All right. Sure. I'm sitting here with this doctor. Like it literally nothing you're saying is making any sense. These have to be real scenarios for people.
All right. So to backpedal, I would stay in a hotel.
All right.
To answer your question.
There it is. A branded hotel or like a boutique hotel?
If the theme is cool, I'll do a boutique. If it's a weird like theme that some of them are, where they use like mannequins as their stock photos, probably wouldn't. Yeah. But
we should give them a shout out. They're in somewhere in LA. We'll find out. They're somewhere in LA. Looks like a sexy time there.
Yeah, it's not where I'm gonna stay. But it's usually a chain for the most part, because again, you know what you're getting. You get what you pay for, and also I feel like there's more of the I need to make this right type of mentality.
Weren't your sheets like bloody at a recent chain experience, and did they not make it not right?
They were, but again, it was you got what you pay for type of thing.
No,
the hotel we stayed at before was also the chain, and it did not do that. So,
yeah.
But yes, for those of you who are wondering that story, I will quickly summarize it. So we went to California, and all of us, my wife, me, Anthony, we all went, and yeah, this bed had blood on it. And I asked Anthony,
and it wasn't a droplet. It wasn't a droplet of blood.
I was like, "Am I bleeding?" And he said, "No, you're not."
Somebody was murdered in the bed. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that much blood. But
so when he left, I called the front desk, and the front desk guy was basically like, "Oh my gosh, that's terrible." And then it got quiet on the line, and he was kind of like, "So do you want me to change the sheets?" Like it was a question. And when I said yes, he said, "Well, I'm the only one at the desk, so it'll take me a little bit." And I said, "Okay, all right." So he gets there, and he looks at the bed, he looks at me, he looks at the sheets, and he looks back at the bed. And I said, "You don't know how to make the bed, do you?" And he was like, "I mean, I could try." I said, "You know what, just give me the sheets and get out, please." So I ended up making my own bed that night. Did not receive any loyalty points or anything as compensation. I barely got an apology. So that's what happened at this chain.
Yeah,
but I'm still a chain guy.
Want to go on vacation? Stay in hotels, I guess, and that's what you'll
I'm still
experience.
A chain guy though.
Right. I'm staying in an Airbnb. You already know how I feel about this. I'm staying in an Airbnb because I want something unique. Even if I'm not like playing pretend, and I'm like, ooh, I'm living in Los Angeles now, or I'm living in Toronto now, or I'm living in Denver now, or wherever I'm going. Like, even if I'm not doing that, I'm staying somewhere that is like unique. Like I get to have like really nice views of like a mountain, or I get really nice views of like the beach, or like I'm not gonna stay at like a Airbnb in a trailer park. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stay at similar to hotels where you would choose a hotel with like a cool theme or nice views or nice amenities. Like I do the same with like Airbnb. Like I'm gonna choose one with like a really cool pool, or like they have like even like the like near the redwoods in California. Like there were Airbnbs that were like suspended in the sky. Like that's so cool to me. What hotel are you staying at where you're like suspended in the sky? You're not. Spoiler alert. You're not.
There's treehouse villas actually that you can do that. So
where? In the redwoods?
In the good old state of Florida.
No.
They are, yes.
But then like, so like that's why I want to stay in like those type of establishments, because it's something different. Sure. Yes, I have to make my own food, unless you can afford to eat out every single night. And that goes into like budgeting, like for your vacation and stuff like that. So let's talk about food then. Whenever you're vacationing, where are you eating? Where and like what are you eating?
So
Is it like local?
realistically, if I'm starving, I need to like pregame somewhere I know, like a chain. Like even if we go to like McDonald's and I get a $2 hamburger or something just before we get to a restaurant, because I'm like, at least I ate something before. But if I'm not just like kind of hungry or I'm not starving, I will try almost any mom and pop shop because I don't really like going to chains when I'm on vacation. Because I mean, you had Olive Garden here, you've probably had it somewhere else. So unless you think it's a mom and pop shop. Yeah, I'd rather go to like authentic places. So like when we went to LA, the Mexican restaurants over there, because again, everyone's like, oh, you got to try the Mexican food in LA. It's so different from even like Texas or anywhere else. So like I want to try that. But yeah, I usually stay away from chains as much as I can because I can get that anywhere.
Yeah, same. So I do the same. Like I'll probably go, and I would say we recommend that all of you guys do that. Explore a little bit. Try local. Look them up before you go.
Yeah.
Because if you're an indecisive person, you do nothing but waste your time and everyone else's time around you. So look it up. Make sure like you can eat the food. If you have any dietary restrictions or anything like that. Back to what Carlos said, because I made a face and anyone's wondering, I didn't assume that Olive Garden was a mom and pop restaurant. It just came out that I wasn't thinking. So we had a really, really terrible experience one time at an Olive Garden in Northeast Ohio. Was it in Akron? Like I almost wanted, it was Cuyahoga Falls. Like I want to find the exact Olive Garden so I can say it. But it was an Olive Garden in Cuyahoga Falls in Northeast Ohio. And we had like a terrible, terrible experience there. And I was really feeling myself, and I was like, I'm gonna really give it to the manager. Like I'm gonna tell him what for. Is that what the people used to say? I'm gonna tell him what for, whatever. But I was like, I'm gonna tell him, and I got on the phone, and it did not go that way. Not because he was like aggressive with me, but because all of a sudden then I like regressed, and I was like, oh, I'm sure it was a server's like first day. Mind you, no one had said that it was his first day, but I was like, I'm sure it's his first day, and blah 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 blah, and I understand that this happened, and I'm sure everyone means well, and like you're a great guy, French was his, shout out to French if you're watching the show.
No, not shout out to French.
We're still waiting on our gift certificates, but so he was supposed to give us gift certificates, right? And I politely turned down the gift certificate because I was like, French, I'm sorry, man, I'm moving, going to Texas. And he was like, well, you do know that there are like Olive Gardens like all across the United States. So not only did I have a bad experience, French had the audacity to like belittle me even more. I don't know why. I knew that there were Olive Gardens in Texas. I just didn't, I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it. I was just too busy like emasculating myself to French.
You didn't want to say no thank you.
Right, that I wasn't even thinking. But anyways, that's the Olive Garden story. But yeah, challenge yourself. Go, be outside the box. Look it up before you go and plan your route accordingly from like where you're going to be before. Like try to plan all of that kind of stuff. Planning routes gets me into my next topic, transportation. What does transportation look like for you whenever you're on vacation?
For the most part, I'm taking Lyft because I prefer Lyft over Uber.
Ugh. Why? Why?
I feel like Lyft is a little more like legit than Uber because like the Lyft riders have like that light in there, like it says Lyft. Uber stepped it up lately, but Lyft always like you knew it was a Lyft car. The Uber I always felt
Uber is like Target and Lyft is like Walmart.
All right, I feel like that was a little extreme.
No,
maybe Uber now, but back then Lyft.
Put in the comments, everyone. Who's better, Uber or Lyft?
Lyft took the cake. At least in LA, Lyft takes the cake. Like Lyft was a far better experience.
From what time you were there? Because whenever I was there, I distinctly remember vehicles that were not even to their registered owner that were on the app. I distinctly remember a guy that was driving us for multiple hours that said, the reason I cannot turn on the air is because we're going to run out of gas and I'm not going to make it to our destination. Which time are you talking about? Was
I
it
mean,
that one? Because
just imagine how much more horrible the story could have been if it was.
no. I mean, yeah. Imagine how horrible it'd be. Nice to like sit in a luxurious. No, I don't. I'm the vehicles for the most part. To me, I do have better luck with Uber, like in having nicer vehicles. However, if I talk to the drivers, because most drive for both, most of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 out of 10 will say that Lyft, like, compensates people better, treats their employees better, better at communicating. Like, I will say that, I will admit that, but I don't care about how much money they're making. That sounds shitty, but I don't care. Like, I'm on vacation right now. All I care about is the service that you're providing, the service that I'm paying you for. Right. If you don't like how much your boss pays you, then get another job. That's what I would expect someone to say to me.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's one thing if they're like committing. It's one thing if. It's one thing if they're committing like human rights violations. Like, yes, then I would like stand up against the company. But if you don't like I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, like man, you should get. I'm never even on that type of to go to what you just said. I'm never on that kind of like personal level. Usually with the drivers, where I'm talking about like does that hurt you? Like, are you okay? Like, I'm usually not.
How do you pull in? Like, you don't ask them that.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I do.
I don't ask them anything.
It depends on. I think it's awkward if you don't speak. Period.
No, I love it. Maria, my wife will. You saw. She'll talk to them. She'll be like, "So how long you been doing this?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
how it's
awkward. You do this
awkward.
more in the morning."
It's awkward if you're just like.
I'm just like, hey, how are you? Because in a taxi, I never sit there and talk. Like in New York, you never get in a taxi and you're like, hey, bud, how's your night going? 42nd Street busy today? Or you just get in and you just get to where you're going and you get out.
Yeah, because it's like hell. Like driving. They can't focus on anything else. It's like the gauntlet. Like it's sick in there. Yeah, they're in it. You're going from like, I mean those must be turbocharged because you're going from 0 to 90 in like 2.8. Like, it's fast because they don't have time to like for pleasantries.
No. But when you like have that mentality of like you wouldn't do that with a taxi driver, that's immediately what my mind is into. It's like I wouldn't do that, so I'm not going to do it with you. Yeah. And when they start talking to me, like I'll go back and forth and I'll have conversation.
I just imagine you like them being like, "Hey, how are you today?" and you're just like just completely ignoring them.
No, I'm like, I'm good. Haha. Like, I'll laugh at their jokes and stuff. But when it starts getting, like, deeper into, like, so how long are you guys here for? Like, what brings you here? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what's happening right now? And then Marie usually will kick in and start answering questions. Because I'm like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this playful banter.
Will you take public transport?
No.
No.
I would not.
I will. I like taking public transportation. So, like, it saved me so much money because whenever I was staying in St. Paul, and had like events and stuff in Minneapolis, and they have like a little, like not a bullet train, but just like a little, just like a weird, like light rail. Not a weird light rail. It's a very normal light rail. I don't know why I said it was weird, but like a light rail that just travels between the two cities. And like you can buy like a whole day pass for $3, and an Uber or a Lyft costs like $11 like one way between the two.
Wow.
So it was like a big difference, and I was like, "This is not like, yeah, there are spots where it smells like piss, but I'm okay. Like, I can do it. Because it saves me money. And again, it just depends on like you get what you pay for. You want to pay $3 a day, you gotta smell some piss." I don't mind. So it is what it is.
It goes Lyft, Uber, rent a car, walk, and then public transportation. Especially if I don't know the city, because like then my mind starts to wander, and I'm like, okay, I don't know the city. I don't know what the vibe of the city's like. Now I'm getting on public transportation and putting myself in a situation where I don't know any of the variables that could happen. So that starts to play with me a bit.
Where are you vacationing at? Like another country? Like,
no,
are you worried
like,
about the safety?
Even in other cities and stuff, I don't know the city. So if I miss a stop and I get off at a street and then I'm like, oh crap, I have no idea
Yeah, you do
where
have
the
to
next thing
really
is.
play. You do have to really plan that. You do have to
Yeah.
plan that. Like you're from New York. I'm not from New York, and like I would always like, not always, but I would oftentimes get confused on the subway and then be like, oh well, now this is ruined. So yeah, I did experience that until I was able to like pay closer attention to where and what I was doing and where I was going and which side I was getting on and until I was able to do that, it was kind of difficult. So if you guys are using public transportation, make sure that you research it ahead of time. Make sure that it goes to the destination that you guys are going to. Otherwise, don't take it. That would be stupid. Two, check to see what type of currency they take. I don't mean like U.S. dollar. Like if you're traveling in the United States, they're going to take the U.S. dollar. But some of them have like Metro cards. Some of them take exact amounts only. Like they won't even make you change. So don't get caught in a situation where you're like trying to get on a bus and then you're holding people up and they're kicking you off and then you're stressed out, and just don't do all that. And try to, something that I do is wherever I'm going, and if I'm going to take public transportation, I'll find out, because we're in 2020 and now there's apps for everything. Like I'll find the app for whatever mode of public transportation I'm using, and I download it before I even go, because it usually shows you routes, it'll show you delays or cancellations, it goes through like the whole thing for you. And I did that, like I started doing that whenever I was going to New York often, and I was like, this is really helping me out, because I used to stay like not almost like kind of going into Long Island, like I'd say in like Bethpage, and take the Long Island Railroad down to like wherever I was going. And like I was like, as long as I can take this, as long as I can like download this map, like I know where I'm going, if that makes sense. Like I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to like worry about where the next train is, because you see it coming. So make sure that you guys download like any applications that you can. If you know anyone in the city, obviously like communicate with them. I think that's the best advice people can give you, instead of just like two random dudes on a podcast. Like wherever you're going, like
That's a different show.
right. If you that would be two random dudes. That would be an interesting title to a podcast. Stay tuned for next season. But like that, like word of mouth is going to be the best form of advice that y'all can get. Whether it's public transportation or food or whatever, and planning ahead. I don't do a good job with this usually if I'm going somewhere. Like I'll plan ahead in terms of like I am budgeting X amount for the entire trip, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna budget $4,000 for this trip, and then that's it. Like I don't budget.
Yeah.
Like I don't get into like, oh, I think I'm gonna eat X amount worth of money today. You know what I mean? Like I don't budget meals. I don't do any of that. And I'm like, here's $4,000. You better make it work. Like you're here for this long, so you better make it work. I've just never been. I wish I was a little bit better at planning, but that's kind of how I do it. So I do not recommend any of you travel that way.
But I think I say everyone travel with me. I was like, wow, that got dark.
No. Please travel with me. Please hang out with me.
No, Maria, she'll budget down to the penny, like, and she'll say like with that $4,000, okay, from this $4,000, this is how much we're gonna allocate toward food. This is how much we're gonna allocate toward like merchandise and things. This is how much gets allocated toward like entertainment options. And for me, that works perfectly, because if I know how much I have in each area, then I know I can't go over this. But if you give me just 4,000 open, I will sacrifice certain meals to buy certain things, and now I'm like, I am starving, and I will end up going over budget because I'm an idiot. But yeah, no, she plans that out to the penny, and then also plans out like per day. So today we're gonna start our day here, we're gonna hit here, and then we're gonna end our day here, and then back to the hotel. And that works again for me perfectly, because I need things to be structured. If not, I'll lose my mind. Like my ideal life would be I made it to where I'm important enough to where somebody's coming with me. Like you have a meeting in 5 minutes here, and then you're gonna do this. That's my. I'd be like, oh my god, thank you so much. But if I don't have some kind of structure,
if anyone wants to be Carlos's assistant, he's taking applications.
Yeah, right now, if you need me to keep my clearly busy days structured, please. But I like more structured itineraries like that. Like if it's open and some people are just like, we'll just explore the whole time we're there, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So.
I like more structured like vacations. I just can't execute them. I want it, but I just can't have it. So that's what.
How bad do you want it?
Right. So you guys tell us where your favorite vacation spots are. And again, we're just two random dudes on a podcast. So if you know like local people, ask local people, kind of figure out what works for you so you guys can enjoy yourselves the most that you can, because there's not a lot of vacation time to people, let alone like paid vacation. Again, this is another podcast, another episode, but people aren't getting enough like paid vacation and paid time off to spend time with their families, and you want to make the most out of your time. So hopefully some of these tips were helpful for you guys. Make sure you give us a like on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. All of the links will be below for you guys as well. So thanks for tuning in this week.
And also our audio-only version, if you're working out or going for a walk, you can listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and a couple other places. But those
and anywhere else you listen to your podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And that will do it for this week's Two Random Guys in a Podcast, or Beg Pardon, whichever title you liked more. He's Anthony. As always, I'm Carlos. Remember, vacation's all I ever wanted. Until next time.